Hello, everyone. I hope everybody enjoyed the break. My name is Christina Salas. I am a broadcast major with an English minor here at the university. Our next guest is someone who is the project manager of creative services at Sanoma in the Netherlands. Pardon me, the Netherlands, tongue-tied. Let's welcome to the stage, please, Erik Hannema.
Good afternoon, everybody. My name's Erik. As said, I'm from Sanoma Media in the Netherlands. First of all, I would like to thank Dr. Hasni for inviting me. This is my first act. I'm kind of a rookie. The next half hour, I would like to inspire you with everything which is possible in print. And I mean in paper in print, not digital. Because there's so much more possible than a standard advertisement page or standard spread or advertorial, as you've heard yesterday. First of all, Sanoma, we're international market leader in media and education in several countries, as you can see. Mostly magazine publishing. Started off with online operation several years ago, and we're kicking off in learning as well. Do a lot of school books. Sanoma Media Netherlands in figures. This is pretty harsh because last Thursday, Franska, editor-in-chief of Libelle, and myself heard from our CEO that from the 70+ magazines we are printing now, several of them, the niche and licensed titles, are going to be moved to content marketing division. And as of Thursday, 32 print titles are on sale. As of 2015, we will keep 17 focus titles. Sanoma is going digital. We still have 100+ sites, 70 apps, large events. We've got 3 TV channels, etc., etc. But the thing they're saying is, well, there's not much more room for that much print titles, so we got to go digital. As said, my name's Erik Hannema. I'm a product manager, creative services, also known as Plus Proposities in the Netherlands. My main task is promotion at creative agencies, media buying agencies, and even my fellow colleagues. Because for an account manager, it's just easier to sell a standard advertisement page than everything crazy I'm going to show you in the next half hour. So what are creative services? To us, all advertising possibilities which are added in, on, or to a magazine. This means discount coupons, general inserts, from sampling to scent strips, till fold-out covers like you see up here. The next question would be, why creative services? Well, one of the main reasons is that an advertiser can distinguish itself through a creative format or can stand out from his or her competitors. For example, by insert. This is a really simple insert we do occasionally. The advertiser takes an advertisement page and glues his insert. This is a 16-page insert by Lego and Duplo. They glue it to the advertisement page, which gives them the possibility to show more of their product in the magazine. Another great example is a 4-page insert, which I actually brought with me in our interior living magazine called Vete Wonen. In the Netherlands, several years ago, we had this commercial on television by a bed company called Auping. And they said, for every 8 hours you sleep, you lose almost 300 cc of moist. After 10 years in the same bed, that's more than 1,200 liters. So you should choose a bed or a mattress with good ventilation. So how are you going to show this in a magazine? Well, they made this 4-page insert with little holes in to show the ventilation in the Auping mattresses. And it turned out that well that the marketing manager from Auping told us that people actually came to the flagship stores of Auping with the magazine going, this is the bed I want. I want the bed and the mattress with the perforation. Which was a great example of a way to promote your beds and your mattresses in print in a creative format. Another good example is this 4-page insert done by Switsal. It's one of the big competitors of Johnson & Johnson baby products. It's a saddle-stitched magazine. So in the first part of the magazine, they tell you, look ahead how you can recover a dry skin. So they got 2 contact moments. So when you look ahead and you end up at the second page of the insert, it says a dry skin doesn't feel comfortable. And you could feel at the, what's that, the mark? It's called Kleintje, which is the trademark for Zwitsal. And they used this UV ink with a little texture in it, so it felt like sandpaper. It felt really rough. Obviously, you don't want your baby to have a rough skin, so what do? You use Zwitsal. It's a pretty easy way of advertising, but it just says it all. And when people look at this, when people feel this, and they're in the store, you know they're gonna look at Zwitsal. Another great example in the Australian notebook I found is the use of milk paper. I really love this stuff, but I've heard from our printers it's pretty hard to work with. I don't know what it's like in the US, but they don't really like it in the Netherlands if we sell this kind of stuff. What they did is they showed on the milk paper, this woman has all these possible wrinkles, deep lifts, enlarged pores. So what do? When you take the advertisement page off, you get to this really nice, good-looking woman. And what is she using to keep this skin? Obviously, Olay. Again, pretty easy insert compared to all the funny stuff I'm going to show you with videos and sounds and stuff like that. But this just works. This is a way to distinguish yourself as an advertiser in a magazine. I actually haven't got a PowerPoint of this one yet, but this is a thing we came up with for Canon. It's the same idea as the milk paper. This is a plastic insert. Canon came up to us and they said, we've got this new camera that shoots really great pictures with low light. So what can you do for us to show this off in print? So we came up with this transparent insert. We made it a little darker. So just through the dark page, you could see the party going on in the back. But the best part we kept open, and that's the LCD screen. When you turn the page, you see the full page ad right behind it. Again, pretty easy and well done. Die cuts. I'm a big fan of die cuts. I just love the way you can play with them. This is Panorama. This is a men's magazine in the Netherlands. One we're actually selling, so if you're up for buying, it's a great magazine. They had the poker championships at Holland Casino. 4-page insert, and when you open them, it says work on your poker face. Pretty easy, but everybody stops at something like this and opens it and sees your ad. Another thing we did, and this was actually one of my first projects when I started as a product manager. Alpha, the car company, came up to us and they said, we want something different. We want to create rumor around the brand, and we don't want people to come in to do a test drive, but the new Alpha Mito is coming to town, and can you create something with our creative agency? And we came up with this 8-page insert that said the Alpha Mito is that hot. So right to the editorial, with permission of the editor-in-chief of GTO at that time, we made this burning hole, as we called it, and it just grows and grows throughout the magazine when you go further. And at the end, you end up at this advertisement spread of the Alpha Mito, because it's that hot, it goes straight through your pages. And it's a fun project to work on, and again, this is not that expensive, it's just an 8-page insert, it's just paper and a die cut. So we could have done that many more times, I think. Creative covers, well, as most of you will know, you cannot advertise on the cover of a magazine. That's like the holy part of the magazine. I think that's a good thing. Some stuff shouldn't be made commercially. This is a sample I found in Germany. Like everywhere I go, I just walk into the bookstores, the Barnes and Nobles of this world, and check out all the magazines just to see if there's something special in there. And then I found this. Well, it's a cover with 3 inserts right behind it. So when you open it, it tells this little story. And this is Jean-Paul Gaultier. And it ends up at this advertisement spread. And the thing I do, I just buy the magazine, I take it back home, and on several presentations at media buying agencies and with my colleagues, I tell them this is something we can do. Already figured out what the pricing is, the printers that can do it for us. And we go past our advertisers and say, listen, we got something new. You want to do this with us? And at the end, it was a smaller perfume company, Thierry Mugler, that said, this is us. We want to do something crazy with you. And we named it a fan cover. We make up our own names because it hadn't been done before. And we did the same thing as done in the Cosmopolitan in Germany with another advertiser. One of my favorite magazines in the US is Esquire magazine, and the reason why I love it that much is because they got a great creative team, I think. Every several months they come up with this crazy idea for a cover. And one I found was most of you might know it, the Mix and Match cover with George Clooney, your president, Barack Obama, and Justin Timberlake. And what they did, they made a perforation in the 3 first pages, which gives you the opportunity to mix and match 27 possibilities of faces. And the advertiser, History Channel, they went along and created their advertisement like this as well. And in the end, I tore it up a little bit too much. You end up with the spread advertisement for the History Channel. And this was all over YouTube. Everybody was talking about the first mix and match cover by Esquire. So we thought, we can do that. They don't know us in the Netherlands. We're such a small country. We don't know if it's patented. And if you don't tell, I won't. So, might get sued now. We came up with the same thing for our interior living magazine, IKEA, a large Swedish company you must all know. And they said, this is great. We should do this with you guys. So we did Fate to Wonen, same way, same idea, mix and match, 27 different possibilities to end up at the advertisement spread of IKEA. And that's mainly what I do in my job, because media buying agencies and advertisers come up to me and they say, Erik, we want to do something that's never been done before. That's the first question. And then they go like, it shouldn't cost too much. And I always say those two don't combine really well. So what I do is I search all over the internet. I reach out to Dr. Hasni. Have you seen anything special which I could get off eBay, wherever in the world? My girlfriend's a flight attendant, so everywhere she goes, she has to go into the bookstores and search for special magazines for me. And we just literally copy it. And if it hasn't been done in the Netherlands, it's good enough for our advertisers. If it's been done in the US, it must be good, so we can do it. So this is another great example. This is Franska's magazine Libelle, where we did a split cover. And this is one of our largest advertisers, Unilever. And they said, okay, we've done split covers, we've done gatefolds, we've done it all, and we want something different. We want you to create a split cover, but we also want to add some scent to the split cover when you open it. We want people to actually smell the new scent of Robijn washing detergent. So we'd never done that before. Just went to the printer, gave it a go, had some samples, tried it out several times, and at the end we just made it work. And for us, this was the first split cover on which we just added scent. And again, no advertisement on the cover, but just underneath the cover, which is okay. This is a really old example. It's Playboy magazine, 1996. And the cool thing about this insert is they did a die cut perforation. It was tested for about 6 weeks before they finally managed to get it work. And the line says, men only want one thing. Looking at Playboy magazine, you're obviously thinking you're looking at a cleavage. But when you open it, you get a man's cheek saying, Philly shave, try it out for 2 months. But I think this is just brilliant. This is one of my favorite creative advertisements. But it was that hard to do. So we asked Philips, would you do it again? And they went like, no, we already did it, even though it's so many years ago. But it was a great ad at that time. And this is really the stuff I'm always looking for to do again, or do it in a different way. And again, a couple of months later, Esquire came up with this really great idea. We couldn't advertise on the cover, so what do? We advertise underneath your cover. And they made this little die-cut hedge, which you could open. And this is really creative because it has to fit with the ID. That's what I think. The marketing has to work with the ID they create. And this says Discovery One Way Out. And they had this new program on the Discovery Channel. There's this Houdini guy, and there's one way out. And that's via the cover of the magazine. And again, this was all over YouTube. People were talking about it, tweeting about it. And that's in the end what they want. They want to create rumor around the brand with something like this. Samples and sachets. Something that pretty much always works with magazines is adding a little gift. Magazine readers like receiving small gifts. So what do? We add tea samples, because what's better than reading your magazine with a nice cup of tea? Well, add a little bar of chocolate to a woman's magazine. That's even better. So this is the stuff we really like, but advertisers hardly do it anymore, because the biggest problem is that creating a small product like this costs the same amount of money as the full product. And that's the one thing they keep telling us. It's just too expensive to produce, and that's why we stopped doing it. This is one by Milka. I think it's done in Czechoslovakia or Slovenia, where they hand glued a little Milka chocolate on the 4-page insert. So when you open it, you see the Milka ad. This is a small sample, and I had to look this up because I didn't know what it was in English. But you guys call it a perfume atomizer. Which was hand glued onto the insert and then stuck right into the magazine. And it was just about as thick as the magazine. So when we sealed the magazine, it just fitted straight away. And when this is on your shelf in a store, people tend to buy it because it's something extra added to the magazine. It's a little gift which you obviously don't get every month or every week. Nescafe, there's a lot of sampling in Russia, I've noticed, and Kiev. I've seen many of those. We don't get them a lot. And of course, something everybody knows is the sachets which are added to the women's magazine, Women's Monthly, and weeklies in the Netherlands. Because what's better than trying the product before actually buying it? And this is the one way. Advertisers in this branch can distinguish themselves by giving away their actual product to the readers of the magazine. Then a couple of years ago, I stumbled upon this magazine and this company called, in the US called First Flavor. And what First Flavor did is they invented this little pouch, and I'd seen them before with chewing gums. They made this little pouch. You send in your product, and they recreate your product in the taste in this pouch, which they added to a little foil, which could be glued onto the magazine. So this is a better example on which you can see on Orchard. This is a discount coupon, obviously, gave away 50 cents, but you could actually taste the specific product, which was remade by First Flavor. I tried selling this in the Netherlands, but the biggest problem is the US is that much bigger, and they told me, well, Erik, you need at least like 500,000 pieces if you want to do this, and we haven't even got magazines with that high of a circulation. It just became too expensive for us. We didn't do it. I think the company quit a couple of years ago, because when I go into the website, it isn't renewed anymore. So I don't know what they're doing now, but unfortunately it probably didn't work out. But I thought it was a great way of sampling in magazines, because they did a lot of alcoholic beverages as well, because you can't sample alcohol, obviously. So they did some with Bacardi, Captain Morgan, so many of those. Last but not least, spectacular advertisement, as we call it. Am I okay in time? Just want to make sure. This is a Marie Claire from November 2006, where we did this deal with H&M. We created, the Chinese made this ribbon for us, which was sent to our printer, which was done cut by hand, and people actually made a knot around the magazine, ending up directly at the 8-page gatefold of H&M. And this was just another great way of showing off your brand and showing off your product. The biggest problem for the editors was the magazine had to be PDF and had to be delivered 7 days before the regular deadline. So the thing was, they said, we did it once, 30,000 copies, we're never ever going to do this again. Which I think is a shame, but obviously a week before deadline, and the deadlines are always really tight, of course, and they can hardly make the regular deadline. So this is Victor and Rolf. Then in Sanoma, Romania, they come up with this idea where we actually own Esquire, to do a die cut with an actual sample in it, and then it said it was seal foiled, and it said you get an extra, you get a little gift of Bulgari with the Esquire, and when you opened it, they made a 36-page die cut in which they included an actual miniature sample, a glass sample of a Bulgari bottle, which is really cool. We can't do this stuff in the Netherlands because we can't add glassware to our magazines. That's the main point. You could do it with plastic, but I just thought this was so much cooler, and I'd still have to do it with one of our advertisers, but haven't found one yet that's willing to do it, because it seems these little miniature bottle samples cost about $10 each. So then you know how much the advertiser spent to do this. They did 25,000 copies, sold out within a couple of days. So again, then I think it was about 2008, 2009, when I stumbled on this company. Some of you might know them. They're called Americhip, based in the US. As they call it, they're into multi-censored advertising. They sent me this box, and I just felt like a kid in a candy store with $100, because they had everything I have always dreamed of in print. They did this pop-up for Pepsi. When you open it, it's obvious it's made in China, and when you open it, it plays the sound. And when you close it, at the back, there's even a little scent marker, and you could still rub it. I've had this thing for over 4 or 5 years now, and you could still smell the scent of Pepsi Jazz Diet. Which again is a really cool example. The way they distribute these things, they told me it's mostly 50,000 copies, LA and New York, just to create rumor around the brand. So you don't you don't see them that often. In People's Magazine, they did an insert with a record option. for Mamma Mia, the musical. And the idea was when you opened the insert, it obviously played the song of Mamma Mia, and then you could record it and sing along for yourself, which is just a little fun added to the insert. Then in 2008, something brilliant happened in the magazine world, I thought. Esquire came with the first LED display, moving display in a cover of a magazine. They did 100,000 copies. Did it together with Ford, which lit up in 3 phases as well. So I've heard, I don't know if it's true, but they spent about $1 million to make this thing. They were made in, the chip was made in China. They distributed them to Mexico, where they were hand inserted into the magazine. And then by trucks that normally deliver ice cream and stuff, they were driven through the several states of the US to get delivered to the shops, because they were afraid in Texas and stuff the batteries wouldn't survive. So that's why they used cold trucks or something. I thought it was pretty funny, but the amount of money they must have spent on this is just crazy for Dutch standards. It has 5 batteries, 6 batteries in it. I think if we do something like this in the Netherlands, we'd have Greenpeace right on our ass. Within a couple of days, we could shut down the company or something, inserting 6 batteries within a magazine. And then in 2009, this was even more revolutionary to me. The first video in print insert was made by, again, Americhip. They worked together with PepsiCo on this one as well. And what they did, they made an actual insert in the magazine with a little LCD display, 5 buttons on which you could start 5 movies. It shows the CBS fall lineup for the new television series. Mine didn't work properly anymore, so I opened it, so you guys can see what's inside. But when I touch it, I think I can still make it work. Hope this works. Hold on. And you will see. Of course, it doesn't work now.
Were you stopped by the TSA bringing all that stuff?
No. The thing is, I'm a great smuggler when it comes to stuff like this.
What did you bring from Holland?
Already sold it. Well, obviously, a little movie should start now. The funny story with this is when we saw this on the internet, all my colleagues said, "Okay, Erik, we want this. We're gonna sell this to our advertisers. What do you think it will cost?" And I'm like, "Well, probably between $7 and $9 a piece." So they went out and told that to the advertisers, and then after about a month or two, I got back this quotation from Americhip telling me that it costs $35 a piece with a minimum order quantity of 50,000 copies. So I was pretty happy nobody sold it at that time. And it took me about 3 years, and we finally found an advertiser in the Netherlands, UPC, which is a digital company or a broadcasting company that did it with us. We did 5,000 copies, 2,500 in Playboy magazine, 2,500 in Marie Claire. And they spent about, I think about $130,000, $140,000 just on production. But to me, it was this one thing I needed to do. I wanted to be the first one in the Netherlands with the video in print. And luckily we did, we managed to do it. Well, to end off with, this is another one of my favorite projects. This is the first ever, as far as I know, Morphin cover that was done. And I just wanted to show you a little movie on how something like this is made. We made 47,000 copies of this. And it was made for the throne swap when our former Queen Mom stepped down, and now we obviously got a king, her son, King Willem-Alexander. We created this morphing cover, and I know it's visible properly, but when you flip it around, it goes from one to the other. And this is hand glued. We sold out on this one, I think, in 3 days or something, which is crazy for a niche magazine like this. We added about $1 to the cover price just to get it done because Forsten doesn't have a big marketing budget. This is one of the best projects that's been nominated in the Netherlands as well. And here's the actual people gluing the cover onto the magazine. And the thing is with our lead times and our run-through times, we can't ship this stuff to like Poland or whatever and have it back in the stores in time. So we have to do this stuff in the Netherlands, which is obviously much more expensive than going to Poland, China, or wherever. I think it's finished, yeah. Well, thank you for your time. This was my presentation. About 2 years ago, I made this book, which I don't have in print anymore, but you can look it up on the SlideShare link that's on the bottom of the page, which has about 100 to 150 possibilities in print, which I've collected over the past several years, coming from all over the world. So please look it up, enjoy it, and use it to your advantage.
Thank you.